Greetings, everyone. My name is Omar Birendra Ramto, and I am currently an undergraduate student studying international business at the Institute Technology Bandung and a double degree in marketing and sales at RAND School of Business. Today, I would be presenting on my current research titled The Risk of Culture Marketing in the Era of Cancel Culture. Before we start with the presentation for my research, here is the agenda for today's full presentation. We will start with an introduction for the research, which includes the overview and context of the research, followed by the literature review with academic literature of similar topic, and the research design and methodology of how the research was conducted. It will then lead to the findings and discussion where the data gathered would be analyzed, and finally, the conclusion of the overall research as a whole. To give a brief introduction, the research talks about cancel culture, which is a current ongoing movement that has been followed worldwide in the form of social media boycott, usually caused by identities that misuse the mention of sensitive topics such as culture, social movements, and etc. towards the public. Examples of such identities would include influencers, celebrities, and especially for this research, businesses. Therefore, with such information, the research found that the problem lies in whether businesses should still consider taking risks, knowing very well the very sensitive threat of the people on the internet. This would then lead us into the question, should businesses take the risk of using cultural marketing in an era of cancel culture? Since using cultural marketing has become such a sensitive topic, it's understandable that businesses should think twice when attempting to target their promotions for the public. Using this question, the research aims to identify the average appropriateness of cultural marketing done by different types of businesses and to identify the utilization and effects of a business from good and bad culture marketing. This should help businesses understand the standard to avoid worrying on such risks. Now, on to the literature review. We would discuss on past academic articles and research that has been done beforehand, using the keywords that has been established for this research. The first two keywords are related to the business marketing side of this research, where one aspect of marketing is known as social marketing, which could be defined as the implementation of marketing activities using social purposes to persuade the behavior of society. And so the second one on the right, the other keyword being cultural marketing. However, before we know what culture marketing really is, we must understand what culture truly is. Formed from the shared environment of the people, culture can be defined as a term that identifies a particular group of people based on ideals, norms, ethnicity, and other characteristics within social communities. Therefore, leading that culture marketing could be defined as promotion of culture towards the general public through a business. Lastly, towards the non-business side of the keyword, there is cancel culture, which could be defined as an online movement through social media that has been used by users to quote unquote cancel or to stop supporting certain identities for a past problem that has usually recently occurred. This could be in the form of a scandal or any sort of problem. For most people, the understanding of cancel culture would be actions taken to hold others accountable, where this certain culture targets an identity's actions which is usually negative, to take responsibility for their actions. On to the third part, where I will shortly discuss how the research was conducted and the method used to gather the data for the findings. For the method used on the left, qualitative and descriptive research analysis was used to find data based on the perspective of the average public, which will be then used to compare between different examples of the findings. And so, on the right, the data would be through secondary research, as all the data used are found through the internet since cancel culture is related with social media. The data would then be summarized to be understandable enough to efficiently answer the research questions. Now that we have reached towards findings and discussions, this part will be used to discuss the data that has been gathered. To easily understand the findings, the data would be separated in halves, where research would talk about the good examples of the culture marketing and the bad examples of culture marketing. The good examples would showcase how successful culture marketing can have on a business through creating a positive image from the public, thus avoiding the cancel culture movement. The first example would be Marvel, uh, the superhero comic company, and how they marketed their two movies, Black Panther 2018 and Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings 2021. So, to simplify, Marvel was able to hit the mark in tapping in the culture to the using people of said culture to represent their creative direction for the two films, with African culture for Black Panther and Asian culture for the Shang-Chi. As you can see from the picture on the left, those two pictures were used for their soundtrack album, which included a lot of artists from their cultures, respectively, and has become a major hit when it first released. And so, on the right, following this, there's also Riot's approach towards introducing new characters into their current trending game, Valorant. Valorant is a game known for having characters originating from different nationalities across the globe. And as such, they recently had a new character from the Philippines named Neon. Through this, Riot was able to use a Filipino artist to represent their new character, thus creating more stronger following for their game from the Philippines and Southeast Asia as a community as a whole. Valorant was able to use Neon and the artist to make a Filipino artist sing the song for Neon's trailer. Next, going for the conflicting side of the findings, the bad represents a negative result of culture marketing. This is what is usually led to cancel culture targeted towards these businesses. The first example on the left would be the culture ignorance of the movement that are currently used by Pepsi and how they misuse the sensitive topic of police brutality and the ethnic cultural stereotypes of the cast in said promotion, which is basically a short film. The idea of including celebrity Kendall Jenner, as everyone would probably already know, to solve quote unquote police brutality with just a can of Pepsi has caused a lot of backlash from the public, as police brutality is presently still a common issue and still a very sensitive topic. And next on the right, there is Burger King. Burger King that misused the way they wanted to promote their stand on International Women's Day, as they started off their promotion with a tweet stating, "Women belong in the kitchen." I know, right? Which was massively misinterpreted in the public and ended up Burger King with being canceled by the whole of Twitter, even though in the thread below this tweet, it was not their full intention. They were trying to support women instead, saying that how this tweet that they posted is something that people shouldn't actually say, but with poor choice of words, that led them to their downfall. So, to efficiently compare both sides, the best way to define this is that Marvel and Riot, they weren't ignorant in the knowledge of said culture. before they began their promotions. Unlike Pepsi, the ignorance of the situation at hand has led them towards their downfall. The other difference with Burger King is how they attempted to promote themselves. They weren't aware and did not fully think it through before they attempted their promotion. So they didn't understand the consequences of their actions and just went along with it. The last part, as to conclude the research, it can be said that through the findings and analysis that the risk of a business getting canceled highly depends on the appropriateness of its use of culture. So therefore, before attempting culture marketing, a business should have the competence of said culture and the reflective awareness attempting their marketing scheme using said culture. Thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed the presentation.